Hello, everyone. Thanks for taking time out to come and talk about the V. It's kind of, it elicits a little smile from all of you, I see. It's something that we don't normally talk about, and we've kind of named it the Vanicure, and that's the newest beauty regimen for the V. So as you can see, Vanicure is a play off of manicure for the hands, pedicure for the feet, and Vanicure for the V. It's really, we're talking about the area that we groom, whether you shave or you wax or you laser or just leave as is, the skin there is different. And I just wanted to talk to you today, do a little workshop on a little bit about our products, but also how I started the business. There seemed to be some interest on how to start a beauty business or any kind of business. And I just wanted to give a couple useful tips that, I've learned through the years. I'm the founder of this premium line of intimate skincare. It's, pretty much a unique approach for this area, and it's garnered a lot of interest. It took a couple of years for people to really catch on and kind of understand why we needed this and, what the reason was, why did I launch this? I've been in the beauty industry for a long time. I worked for companies like Revlon and L'Oreal and Almay, and mostly in product development and marketing. And I'd like to share this journey with you for launching this skincare line. I hope you find it interesting. Ask me questions along the way, and I'll try to answer as best I can. Pretty fortunate because I had the opportunity to live in Europe for 10 years, 2 different stints through my husband's job. Once I lived in Brussels, Belgium for 4 years. Came back to the States, and then I lived in Copenhagen, Denmark for 6 years. And that's where this idea kind of originated. When you live in these different places, there's just lots of different aspects to the way that people live. And I try to immerse myself in the culture with Danish friends, etc. The food was super unique, really different. They have lots of berries like lingonberries and Arctic cloudberries and elderflower. I think you probably know elderflower now. It's made its way to the States in cocktails and different drinks. But when I moved there 6 years ago, I had never even heard of these ingredients. And being from the cosmetic business, berries have great antioxidants and great skin soothing and smoothing properties. So I started thinking, wow, that would be kind of cool to have a line with all of these really cool Nordic berries. So there were a lot of trends that were happening in Denmark that have made their way to the US, like organic foods, plant-based foods, talking about greener energy. Everywhere you go in Scandinavia, you see windmills. The closeness to nature. I live near the Baltic Sea, and the forest was only a bike ride away. And I'm from New York. I could count the times I really went outside. I was always, working, and I was not really a nature girl. But when I moved to Denmark, it was everywhere. And you do get into riding the bike. I don't know if you went to our website, but there's a little corny video of me in my life in Denmark. But it's true. Like all of a sudden, you're riding a bike. It's just a way of life to go to the grocery store. It's kind of funny, but I really did love that. So. I wanted to just kind of take you a little bit through the line, but kind of encourage you that if you have an idea, I'm sure all of you have had like brilliant ideas while you're in the shower or while you're driving, and you just come up with something and you say, wow, how come no one has done that before? And I'm not like super brave or super entrepreneurial. I wasn't. Now I'm kind of entrepreneurial, but at the time, when I thought about this project, I think it's kind of fun to share how I thought of it. I was working for a beauty client in Denmark, and I was working on BB creams. So everybody knows what a BB cream is, multitasking cream for the face, skincare, and it does lots of things. It's pretty cool. And then there's CC creams, and I was going through the alphabet, and I was like BB, CC, DD, there's an EE cream, and I got to VV cream. And I said, wow, that could be really cool. VV cream for the V. And I mean, it sounds like a silly idea, but I just thought it was kind of interesting. And it kind of went from there because I used to go to a lot of trend presentations in Europe. So it was just an excuse to get away from my family and go to these really cool places. So I went to Barcelona. I mean, it sounds exotic, but it's really like a really short, plane trip. And I would go to Barcelona, Amsterdam, Paris, and I would go to these trend presentations. And I would started to put together some trends. Like first of all, the global behavior of removing hair down in the V area. That business is huge. Razors, multi-billion-dollar business. Waxing salons, laser is really big. And then I started like looking at the marketplace, and I realized there were very few products. And the products that were out there, as you know, they are old fashioned, and they're in the back of the store, in the drugstore, on the bottom shelf. They're usually big pink and purple and gaudy and kind of, just not products that are really becoming and something that you really want to. Well, first of all, you wouldn't want anyone to see it in your shower. You wouldn't, it's not something you want to advertise. And usually the messaging is very kind of negative, where it says, odor blaster, or, ingrown hair. And from being in beauty for so long, our goal in beauty was always to make a woman feel really beautiful about herself. So the packaging and the messaging, super important. So we would never put, for example, a cream for your eye. We would never say, you old bag with lines under your eyes. And, you talk about how we can help you and the benefit. So again, not that these were kind of like rocket scientist ideas, but just like all together, it made sense to me. And it was funny because you would think, being in Europe, maybe you think they're more out there and they're more honest about these things and more forthright, but they're not. They're the same as the US. Their product is, if I dare say, it's a little bit even uglier, and it's in the bottom of the shelf, and they use the word intimate a lot, but it's embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? It's just not pretty. And usually, even in the States, they show a lot of flowers in a phallic kind of way, or they'll come up with these weird scents like Hawaiian garden, like who wants to smell like Hawaiian garden? And there was just this opportunity. So I would say, if there's one thing, when you have a business idea and you look and you see and you look at the competition and you see kind of what's out there and you identify, an opportunity, I think that is really great. And then make sure the idea is big enough. One of the things that I think is important is that I did see a global behavior. It was women in the United States, Asia, Europe, like everyone. We all have a V area, and the V is the bikini area. So when I talk about the V, it's not necessarily, I'm not talking about the vagina. I don't go inside. We're all external, all skincare. Let me be clear on that. It's just, skincare for the V. It's the bikini area. So it's the top of the stomach, the outside of your thighs, the outside of your hips, that whole area. And when I thought of the idea, I said, well, wait, why can't we just use regular body products? Am I creating another beauty product that we don't need? Who needs another beauty product? But I went to a lot of dermatologists, and they said, yes, you do need something different there. This delicate skin in that area is very different. And it's kind of funny, but it's very much like the armpit area. It has just as many sweat glands. It's very delicate, and we're ripping hair from it, shaving, etc. And you have somewhat of an odor. Not that the odor is bad, but like maybe you don't want that, So when I thought of the line, I said, okay, I would like to take care of some of the main issues women have. And the main issues are usually from shaving or waxing, where you get ingrown hair, you get red bumps. Hyperpigmentation happens a lot with a lot of the different products. And then odor. Your natural odor is nice, but there are like, let's say you're working out and you're really hot and you're sweaty, you might want to freshen up. You don't have time to take a shower. So I kind of looked at all of those problems and came up with a full regimen. And I really relied on my experience in cosmetics, going back to skincare. So a regular skincare routine for your face, you really consist of three things that you really need to focus on, which is cleansing, exfoliating, and moisturizing. And that's really the premise of this line, so that we have 8 products. You don't need all 8, but I group them into different areas because people have different forms that they like to use. So I did cleansing items. I have a wash, a mist, and a beauty sheet. And I just want to talk about the beauty sheet for a minute. The reason I have the beauty sheet is that there are lots of wipes out there, and I know lots of brands have them, but they're usually kind of small and you need 2. They're usually fragranced. This whole line is completely unfragranced. And I think, again, going back to the messaging, I didn't want to have a brand that was called a wipe. I don't know. I've had twins and I think of something else when I think of wipes. So I wanted to call it a beauty sheet. And so I think it's something that when you open it, you feel special and it just makes you feel good. Just want to skip back to the name of the brand, called the Perfect V. The Perfect V was named because not of the way you look. I don't care if you wax or shave or you don't do anything. Just want it to make you feel really great and have confidence. So that's why we named it the Perfect V. It's like your idea of perfection, whatever you think, you know. The second step for the regimen for the V is the exfoliator. And there really isn't any other exfoliator out there that I've ever seen designed specifically for the bikini area. And what this does is it's just a very beautiful, light, gentle formula. It has gentle AHAs and it exfoliates the skin, and it really helps with the ingrown hair. I have a question here about the red bumps. That's really the next area, which is a moisturizer. It's like any other part of skin on your body. You need a moisturizer. And I have 2 different moisturizers. They're called VV creams, and one is a VV cream and one is an intensive. The intensive is if you know that you're prone to red bumps and ingrown hair. And all you need, I mean, this lasts about 2.5 months of product. And all you need is just a little. I don't know if you can see this here, but you just need very little. And I don't know if you could see it. It dries down really quickly, so you can you can get dressed quickly. And the intensive is a really great way to prevent ingrown hair. And if you look in the marketplace, most of the product out there is after you already have ingrown hair, and they have lots of alcohol in the product. We don't have any alcohol. We made it as green as possible. I make the product line in Europe. And I don't know if you know anything about how products are made, but in the US, they make beautiful products. But in Europe, they have a little more stringent regulations. There's 1,500 ingredients that are banned in Europe that you can still make in the US. And I'm not a product developer, formulator. So I wanted to make sure, I went to the best in Europe. And it's funny there, you can't even put no parabens on the packaging because no one's allowed to have parabens. No one's allowed to test on animals. Those are just 2 of the big laws that they have there. And I just wanted to make it as clean as possible. And that was one of the other, I guess, tips that I would give you is like, look at the big macro trends that are happening when you have an idea. I launched the line 3 years ago, thought of the line 4, maybe 5 years ago, and clean beauty was kind of just starting. And now, as you know, it's everywhere, so kind of look at those trends, those macro trends that are happening. Like I said, this was a tough product the first 2 years to get the message out, because people would say, we had an article in Shape magazine and it said skincare where, that was the article. So it took a while for it to come to its own, but I think, with self-care being so important and clean beauty, and there is a focus now on sexual wellness, we kind of fit in all of those categories. And let's see, what else can I tell you? The 2 other products that I haven't mentioned is this just won an award for Best Feminine Wellness Product, but I'm not trying to sell you on the line right now. I'm just trying to tell you what the products are, but this is a serum. It has a slight tightening effect. It's just a really pretty serum, and you can layer it. You can put this on before you put the VV cream, or you can use it by itself. And then I had to have a little fun. I have a color cosmetic background, and I don't know, I just wanted to have a little fun with this. And this is called Shades of V. And the idea was that I would have a couple more shades later on. But this just gives a very soft glow. So when you're putting lingerie on, or you have a bathing suit on, you can put it all over your hips and your décolleté. You can actually use it all over. It's really pretty. It makes you feel special, and it's a really pretty item. And then I didn't mention the mist. This is one of our best sellers, but this is just, you've seen, I don't want to mention other brands, but you've seen these in the drugstores, and they're usually an atomizer. And so like when you spray it, it's like, whoa. This is just a very light mist, and it has Rosa Damascena flower water. So it's very lightly scented, but naturally scented. And it has something in it that neutralizes odors as well. So it kind of takes that out. So, I mean, it sounds like a lot of products, right? Sounds like, I see some shaking heads. It's a lot, like, oh my gosh, do I need all? But you really don't. I mean, if you have the basic wash and you exfoliate once or twice a week, and you put a hydrating cream on, but it just makes you feel really special, taking care of that area. I do have to say, as you get older, it does age just like the rest of your skin, right? And plus you're shaving or you're waxing, so the skin can get more loose there. And so, that's really the reason, for the line. So if I could go back to why, really starting your own business, first we talked about, having an idea. And then I think the next thing is really figuring out what the problem is. What is the pain point that women have? And the thing that I kept hearing when I first did my research was, I wish there were products out there that prevented ingrowns, or took care of that delicate skin, or was a prettier product, didn't look so utilitarian, or I didn't have to shop in the men's section. I remember when I first started developing this line, I went into the body shop and I said, oh, I have red bumps and, some ingrown hair. Do you have a product? And she's like, oh, I got the perfect product for you. And then she brought me to the men's shaving section. I just said, oh boy, okay, I got to come out with something. You just have these different aha moments. And then, the authenticity of your idea has to be key. I hope I'm coming across as being authentic, but the idea really is, was authentic. I was living in Denmark. I was surrounded by a more natural lifestyle. Got the idea for the berries from, being around that. And when I developed the packaging for the product, packaging is really key in beauty. I wanted something that looked like regular skincare. So this line here, I don't know if you could see, but it looks like any other skincare line. It doesn't necessarily scream, I'm for the V. And I wanted a color that was very soothing. And then at the time, no one had this nude blush color. Now a lot of brands have copied us and have this color, but at the time, nobody did. And then, we try to incorporate the blue, the calming blue. That's the Scandinavian, the Baltic Sea, which I lived by. So I don't know if you had a chance to look at our video, but on our website, I feel really proud of that video, not because of me, but because of the creative team I hired. I was really fortunate to get this pretty famous director to do the film. And I was at a cocktail party. Denmark's super small, and it's hard to kind of break into, but once you get in, they're so cool. Like, they'll let you in their world. And I was at the cocktail party, and he had directed the Killing series, like a very big movie in this series. And I just was a little embarrassed about the line at the time. It was a couple years ago. And I said, oh, I'm doing a product, for the V. And he's like, the V, what's the V? And I told him, and we just started talking about it. And I said, I wish I could get you to do a video for us. I was kind of just joking, with a cocktail in my hand and kind of joking with him. And he said, well, I'm not doing anything for the next 2 months. And I love working on projects like this. And I like you, I'll do it. And I almost, I couldn't believe it. So here we had this, fantastic director. And then there's the Anna Wintour of Denmark. He's the creative genius there. and another gentleman. And I met him, and he was kind of upset that we hadn't hired him to do the creative. And I said, well, I didn't think I could afford you. You know, we're this very small brand. And he said, look, anything that's cool that happens in Denmark has to go through me. Okay. So he did it, you know, and then he, you know, got one of the top models who, you know, yes, she's beautiful and she is a model, and not all of us can have a body like that, let's face it. But she was much more than that. She's a personality there. She's a really cool woman. She has a child. She's young and beautiful, but she was brave to do this. And when you watch the film, um, that was done right down the street from where I live in February. It was 0 degrees, maybe 10 below. And she does the winter bathing. She jumps into the, you know, the water and comes out. And then the idea was, you know, she puts the robe on. And I had never done that before I moved to Denmark, and I swore I never would. But after living there for 2 years, I did it. And it's so great. You go in the water, you freeze, you come out, and you put like a robe on, you hop on your bike, you ride to your house and take a quick shower, hot shower. And it's just invigorating. It really was a cool experience. I miss that. And I wanted to incorporate that into the video. And there's a beautiful spa that was right up the street from us called Skodsborg Spa. I'm probably not saying it with the right Danish accent, but and you know, we tried to show a film where a woman was taking time to spend time with herself, self-care for her bikini. There was no men involved in the video, you know, it was just for herself. And you know, now that sounds kind of trite because a lot of people are doing that. But again, we shot this almost 4 years ago. And so that's the authenticity I'm talking about. You know, everything about the brand kind of represents my experience when I lived there. And then taking my experience with cosmetics and having a really great team. I mean, it's super important to have a team. I know you hear that a lot, and it's really true. You have to have dedicated, committed people to work with you. And you have to hang in there. I mean, it's tough because it doesn't take off quite as fast as you want it to. But I've had really good dedicated buyers, like the people from Revolve and Blue Mercury, who have, you know, embraced the line and taken it in and, you know, tried to educate women about the process. So I feel like all I've been doing is selling, and I'm just trying to share my experience. But I think maybe the last part is what I just shared with you, is where you're going to sell it, how you're going to sell it. You know, with COVID, that was tough because we were in a lot of spas, because it's a natural product to be in a spa. A lot of the spas, Waxing the City, I don't know if you're familiar with them, but some of those spas have taken us in also as a service, which is really cool. So if you get waxed, you can have a manicure with it, and they use the products and they incorporate the products into the manicure. So I think it's really great because when I go for a wax, I mean, it's not something I'm really looking forward to. It's like a facial I love. You come out, you feel great. A wax, you're like, oh, I'm glad that's over. But, you know, at Waxing the City, they incorporated our products in Mario Tricoci in Chicago. And it just makes a great, you know, a great experience. So when you come up with an idea, think about where you're going to sell it. And of course, obviously, even before COVID, but now especially, being online is critical. Thank God we were online in a lot of places, because a lot of spas were closed last year. Our UK business was way off because, you know, all the spas were closed. But women feel very comfortable buying this online. So that's another great opportunity. So I guess in wrapping up, I would just say that, you know, I think it's really exciting to introduce something new, something that's never been done before, which sounds kind of silly. Like I said, there were products out there, but no one had really put it together in this complete skincare regimen. And it requires a lot of work and education to explain your new idea, you know, so it's kind of like a good thing and a bad thing. It's good that you're new and exciting and something different, but then you have to really explain why you're new, why you're exciting, why someone needs it. Why didn't someone else do this before? So that's kind of a challenge. But I'm just so happy that women are taking the time to do something for themselves. The whole idea of wellness and self-care seems to be really catching on. And I hope everyone that's on this call is doing something for themselves, self-care, and just really taking that time, for yourself, whether it's the perfect V and giving yourself a manicure or just anything, it's kind of played out now. And this is an idea that's been around for a long time too, but the whole idea of hygge, you've seen it, um, in magazines and things like that. And that whole idea of hygge comes from Scandinavia, and it's really meant to be with your friends, with your family, with yourself, with the candle. It's a lot about lighting. They're really into the lighting there, and creating an ambiance for yourself, and getting the products that you like. It might be a little pricier than buying something in the drugstore, but you're going to feel really good about it. It's that tactile experience. And, just even when you touch the product, it just feels better, as opposed to something like a big personal care kind of shower that everyone in your family could use. This is something special for you. So I can look at the questions and see if there's, okay, so there's quite a few questions you might, I'm going to go through some of them. So someone's asking about advertising on social instead of print. I mean, I love print. I'm old fashioned, right? I love print. When I was at L'Oreal, and sometimes I'll go to meetings, I'll bring the magazines we're in, and people look at me like, where, oh my gosh, like print, who looks at print? So I'm just saying, like, if you're going to spend money, you've got to just do it on social media. I haven't had a lot of money to promote the brand. It's really been word of mouth and some great relationships with our retailers. But yes, social media is where it's at. And it's things like this, like talking to you, getting ideas. I wish we could kind of have more of a back and forth. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your ideas. So please DM me at The Perfect V, because I would love to hear, I just learned so much from everyone. But social media is great. And then things like this. How do you test products after you make them? So that's, a big process. And, people think, because there's been a lot of articles, oh, you can start a brand, in 6 months, have an idea for a product and you go and but you really need to take the time to find the right manufacturer. If any of you have, any questions with that, maybe I could help you. Just DM me. I love to help people with the knowledge that I have been in the business for so long. There's a lot of great manufacturers in the United States, but, I told you I make mine in the UK. And I did that specifically because, I told you about the regulations and all. But once you have a formula, then you can make it many different places. You just have to make sure that you have the testing. But there's a lot of things you have to test. You have to test with people, you have to test with your packaging, and it takes time. So I think from inception of idea to, actually launching could be a year. The supply chains are much longer now, so maybe it takes even a little bit longer than that. But take the time to test. I mean, of course, we've been out for 3 years. We have very few returns. People love our product, and it's made for everyone's sensitive down there. Let's face it, it's a sensitive area. So that's why I made it as clean as possible, with no fragrance, with no parabens, with no sulfate. And just be careful, make sure you take the time to do the testing. The factories, researching factories, I mean, that takes a lot of research. And like I said, if you want any input, maybe I could help you, DM me. But, you want the GMP, which is the Good Manufacturing Process seal that they have. And you have to have a one-on-one relationship with them. Most of them are pretty good. I mean, there's regulations that they have to adhere to. But you're a small brand, so you want to work with someone that specializes with smaller brands, because the MOQ, which is the minimum quantities, can be quite high. So it costs a lot. So you want to make sure you work with someone that can handle and wants your business as a smaller vendor, and will help scale and help you grow. Can you exfoliate before waxing? So yes, you can exfoliate before waxing with our product. Maybe not some of the other products that are out there, because a lot of them are sugar based, and they're very rough, and they make the skin kind of raw, and then you're going in and you're getting waxed. Our product is super gentle. And so you can do it beforehand. It's just going to take the very top cells off, but I recommend that you do it, depending on your skin type, 2 or 3 times a week. It's so simple. You just take a little bit right in the shower, or you can do it. Sometimes I forget and I'll just do it outside the shower, but it melts into your skin. So it's perfect. And it's not like the sugar or other exfoliators that leave a little bit of grit. And it's designed specifically for the bikini area. I know you can use other products that are sold for men and women and everybody, but I just feel I've tested a lot of them and I just think that, this is really a special product. Um, is there any other questions that I'm missing? Oh, how do you not get red bumps? I think shaving dry is a problem. I think that a lot of girls do because you see a few hairs and you're like, "Ooh, let me go and let me shave," and then you get red bumps, and they're not that easy to get rid of. They don't calm down quickly. But if uh, use water when you shave, and then you also do the exfoliating and do the moisturizing. Again, it's just about moisturizing that area, hydrating that area. We don't do it. We kind of just leave it. And when you think about it, it's kind of silly because you moisturize the rest of your body, but not that area. And it's just, it's irritated because of chafing and sweating, and a lot of things happen, down in that area. So we really should take care of that skin. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm just trying. I think that's all the questions I have. Can you buy it at Shoppers? Is that Shoppers Drug Mart you're thinking of in Canada? No, but we do. If you go to our website, we do ship to Canada. I think that's the question there. Bye. Thank you. Thanks so much.